Hey, thanks for making it to Veterans Info Tap. I'm glad you made it. Expanding benefits for reservist and guard members. This is a big topic because I don't know. I think that obviously reserves and guard it's a lesser commitment, but with the same, I guess, obligation if called upon, if that makes sense. So you're still signing a dotted line, and you still have zero control over what you do or where you go. If you get called up or not, so on and so forth. Now, I believe that there are some benefits that could be a little more, I guess, robust than what they are for reservist and guard members who sign their dotted line like everybody else. Now, should they have the same carte blanche, all the same benefits and accessibility that active duty members have? Probably not. But there are some things that should be a little more in line with their active duty counterparts, right? So let's dive into this, and this is directly from the U.S. Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs. I did a video on this before in the past, and I believe it was on the House side, so now we're on the Senate side, so I want to share this with you. Please hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. I truly appreciate it. All right, so it says here, expanding Montana, although that's just where the chairman of the committee is senator for, is Montana, and I believe it's an election year for him, so he's going to tout Montana and what he's doing for Montana as much as possible for his reelection, I am sure. So you can exchange Montana for the United States because anything federally done is really going to help benefit everybody. So expanding Montana Guardsmen and Reservists GI Bill benefits is aim of Bipartisan Tester bill. Tester introduced legislation to ensure Guardsmen and Reservists receive educational benefits for all of their federal service time. This just came out Thursday, March 21st, 2024, sharing it with you today. So let's jump into it here. U.S. Senator Jon Tester, chairman of the Senate Veterans Affairs Committee, recently introduced bipartisan legislation to ensure National Guardsmen and Reservists receive educational benefits for all of their time that they spent in uniform. The Guard and Reserve GI Bill Parity Act would provide GI Bill benefits to Guardsmen and Reservists for every day they spend in federal service since September 11th, 2001, including all active duty activations under Title 10 and Title 32, in addition to drill weekends and annual trainings. So, just a quick story. After I got out of the Marine Corps, never utilized my GI Bill like many of you, and because it was just less accessible back then. And I mean, and it's not like I got out that long ago. I got out in the 90s of the Marine Corps and had my GI Bill, but there was no real, online schools or anything like that. You had some correspondence courses, mail-off courses that you could do. Going to college, in a full-time basis wasn't an option, had a young family and all that stuff. So my GI Bill disappeared. Then, after a break in service, I turned around and I joined the National Guard in 2009. So in 2009, I joined the National Guard and I pushed on another 6 years there and never received any educational benefits because my unit never deployed. I mean, they did, but they deployed before I got there. They came back right as I joined, and then about halfway through, they were supposed to again, and then it got pulled, and we ended up not. So I lost out on that. So one of the questions that I have in the back of my mind now is, well, hey, will I get some post 9/11 GI Bill if this goes through for my time spent for my days and schools and annual training and all that stuff? Curious. All right. So the Guard and Reserve GI Bill Parity Act would provide GI Bill benefits to Guardsmen and Reservists for every day that they spend in federal service, right? So that includes all the different aspects, right? Title 10, Title 32, drill weekends, annual trainings. There's a quotation here: Montana Guardsmen and Reservists risks their lives to keep us safe on missions at home and abroad and deserve GI Bill benefits that reflect their service to our nation, Tester said. Our bipartisan legislation will ensure they rightfully get the full education benefits they have earned and continue the legacy of generations of Montanans who served our country using the GI Bill to get an education. Currently, the time Guardsmen and Reservists spend on active duty, along with many National Guard deployments, do not count toward accruing GI Bill benefits. The Senator's Guard and Reserve GI Bill Parity Act will fix this disparity, ensuring Guardsmen and Reservists are eligible for GI Bill benefits for all of their federal service time. The Senator's push to fix this disparity for Guardsmen and Reservists is supported by stakeholders and veteran service organizations in Montana and across the country, including the Montana National Guard Association, the University of Montana Military and Veteran Services, the National Guard Association of the United States, Student Veterans of America, Military Officers Association of America, the Enlisted Association of the National Guard of the United States, the Reserve Organization of America, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, the American Legion, Tragedy Assistance Program for Survivors, and Veterans Education Success. Whew, that was a lot. Montana's soldiers and airmen invest many hours and sweat to train and prepare for our dual mission of serving our state when called upon to protect lives and property during wildfire, flooding, pandemics, and other national disasters, as well as our national mission to serve the country, said Montana National Guard Association Executive Director Keith J. Kelly. They meet the same standards as their active duty brothers and sisters when preparing for deployment. Thousands of Montanans have served both at home and abroad. The Montana National Guard Association is honored to support the Guard and Reserve GI Bill Parity Act of 2024 and its companion House bill. This goes a long way in recognizing that Guardsmen and Reservists train and serve alongside the active duty and bring parity to a benefit by granting service recognition toward the post 9/11 GI Bill eligibility. Now, there's a couple other quotes here. I'm going to skip those. At the very end here, it says, a leading advocate for expanding Guardsmen and Reservists access to GI Bill benefits, Tester introduced the Guard and Reserve GI Bill Parity Act in the 116th Congress and the Guard, Reserve, and Active Duty VA Educational Assistance Parity Act of 2021 in the 117th Congress. So a couple different goes there. Glad that this is on. If you support this, reach out to your congressional elected officials. Let them know that you support it, both on the House and the Senate side. Again, it is the Guard and Reserve GI Bill Parity Act in the 116th Congress. Let's see, I think it's the same name, right? Yeah, the Guard and Reserve GI Bill Parity Act. So the Guard and Reserve GI Bill Parity Act is what you want to mention that you support. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. Have a great one. And remember, if we don't take care of each other, something went wrong.